Hey, this is Andy from Robot Monkey Films. I decided to make another cooking show. This time I'm making chili. I think I'm going to go a little spicier than I did last time. There's a few modifications from what I normally do. But let's get you started on walking through the process. First thing, we'll do the ingredients. Alright, so these are the ingredients. Here we got a bunch of beans, a bunch of tomato products. I like to have a lot of different kinds of tomato stuff in my chili. Whole chunks of tomato paste, diced. I'm going to use corn. I'm going to have a can of chickpeas over there. Obviously various Dr. Gonzo's condiments. Onion, green pepper, red pepper, 1 habanero. Extra hot sausage, Italian sausage, ground beef, and a piece of steak that I had left over. I'm gonna use all this to make a pretty mean chili, I think. Let's get started. So the first thing I'm gonna do is chop the onion. We're gonna use half of it right away with the sausage, the beef, and the habanero. We're gonna put all those together, brown the beef, brown the meat. Then we're gonna start adding basically everything else and get it to slow cook steep. So here we go. This one comes pre-divided by nature. It's some sort of hybrid, I guess. Dual embryo thing. So we'll start with one half with the meat and all that, and the other half we'll put in with everything else. So some of the onion will be more done than other parts. Let's say this. Alright, that's the first half of the onion. Now the habanero. This is a little trick I've learned. You never want to handle these things when you're cutting them especially. So this comes with a nice handy glove. Remove the stem. I usually cut it in half and then cut that up into as small pieces as I can. So you want to put this in early and let it really sink into all of the meat that's going in here. Be careful not to put any pieces of the bag in with it. Watch out for flying debris. Rubbing this stuff on your skin will cause a pretty nasty burn. Getting it in your eye will probably hurt for hours. But if you're smart, you can handle even the hottest peppers without getting injured. So now, you might want to have a big pot. That's a good place to start. I put a little bit of olive oil in the bottom so nothing gets burned. Dump in all the meat you got, hamburger, sausage. Almost ditched the whole deal there. I'm not very good at squeezing sausage. What are you going to do? It's not part of my formal training. Something I'm doing a little different than I normally do. I had this leftover piece of steak from a barbecue, so I'm going to cut this piece of steak up into tiny pieces and throw it in with the rest of the crap. Okay, here we've got all the sausage, the beef, the onions, the habanero. So I'm going to add a little bit of chili powder. It's not chili without chili powder. And coriander and cumin. I don't think it's Mexican without coriander and cumin. And then we'll start heating it up. So I've added chili, coriander, cumin, and a bunch of Dr. Gonzo's 1 hump dry rub. And we're ready to just turn the heat on. Now one thing you might want to remember, you did just handle a habanero pepper, so don't touch your face for the rest of the day, at least. or other places. Now that we've got all our spices in there, I'm going to make sure that everything's really well mixed before I turn the heat on. Before and after. So with a little bit of elbow grease, you end up with something on the level of consistency of a meatloaf ready to go into the oven. Alright, I'm going to turn on the heat, and alright, I've turned on the heat, and I'm going to keep folding it and stirring it as I go just to make sure it gets broken up and cooks evenly all over. So I've turned on the heat, everything's cooking. I'm going to keep folding it and stabbing it and flipping it over and breaking it up. And while this is happening, I'm going to cut up the rest of the vegetables and open a bunch of cans. I'm not going to use everything that I had. We'll see what fits, but I got my priorities in mind. Okay, all the vegetables are good and cut up, ready to go when that stage is ready. And here we see the meat concoction is cooking away. So when the meat's good and cooked, I add everything at once. All the vegetables and a fair amount of these cans are going in there. Paste, stewed, corn, chickpeas, black beans, kidney beans. And I can't forget all of my favorite spices. We're definitely going to be putting habanero mash, pepper mash, super mash, red pepper, meat rub, some Frank's Red Hot, really just for flavor. So, yeah, you get the idea. We'll see how that goes. We got to keep flipping the meat around and making sure it doesn't get overdone on any one side, and then we'll throw everything in. Alright, now that the meat is thoroughly browned, we are gonna turn down the heat and start adding everything else on top of it. I've got all the veggies cut up, a bunch of cans of stuff ready to go in, corn, paste, stewed tomatoes, all the beans that we've drained. So let's make a pile and see how much we can fit in this pot.